We worked with apprentice chefs. We gave them a smartphone so that they could take pictures of their workplace situations. They have to prepare recipes for the exams, but each recipe has a sort of recto verso. So if the recto is the recipe, the verso is the reflective part. And the teacher began using this recipe to give lessons. And then the teacher selected just 2-3 recipes only as a starting point, where he saw interesting elements. He asked, hey, John, please comment on your recipe, why you did so and so. So the learner was always at the center, and this had many interesting effects on motivation, on interaction, because all of a sudden all the others raised their hands saying, hey, teacher, no, my chef says that like this, it's not so good. I should do like that.
We started to create artificial tutoring systems for providing this kind of counseling and teaching that is possible via technology. So what we created is different didactic pathways so that the tutor can see, the intelligent tutor can see where the students are, what they're doing at the moment, and give hints and pieces and additional content and suggest something that might be meaningful to the student in a specific case. We've been working on prototyping this kind of artificial intelligent tutoring system in the past, and it has shown some potential, but we do have a long way to go in that kind of area.
A fourth project we called KEAP, K-E-A-P. It's a short verb for learning, getting competencies directly on the workplace, and in fact it is an online authoring tool for teachers and trainers, which enables them to documentate individual working and learning processes in the individual company and how to deal with it and how to step into an online authoring environment and how to document in a way that even teachers and trainers can exchange this under themselves, but also that they can individualize learning paths for young ones. And this is really important. And we got to know that the concept of this KEAP project is in the very moment of interest from some institutions in India, because they try to adopt it for their needs over there in rural areas for migrant workers, for example.
So all of a sudden we realized that across experiences there were some strong and recurring points. And there we said to ourselves, why not to develop an online learning environment being able to reify the FRM approach. And here comes Rialto. So Rialto is a platform for vocational education, which has the characteristics I mentioned before. Imagine Rialto as a platform that has different layers. Some layers are for everybody. Some other layers are sort of plugins that you can put or not depending on the profession.
We can talk about the Khan Academy, for example, which is a video platform where a lot of educators work together to provide meaningful and excellent content for learners. So this is an ongoing process and an ongoing development that starts in different areas of education and permeates the vocational education and training system more and more.
Example is, we call it OER, Open Educational Resources. This project explains very precisely how a teacher or trainer can use content from the internet. what are the tricks, what are the traps, what are the advantages, and for what he has to pay a lot of attention for, name it, what is the question of copyright, can I change a content, am I allowed to use it, to send it further on, and so on and so on. And our experience really is, if I don't know it as a teacher or trainer, I just keep my hands away from this. So I don't use the internet as an information source. And this OER, Open Educational Resources concept, which we did develop within this concept, is ready for a webinar. So interested people can visit it.
For example, if I think about the technologies like the hyper video or interactive video, we can refer to affordances like, for example, the possibility to focus the learner attention through visual cues, to allow personalized non-linear trajectories in the fruition of the video itself, to link theory and practice through interactive markers, which can connect to hyperlinks and so, to improve the interaction and confrontation through exchange options like video integrated chats or annotation tools, to foster analytical processes, and this is a specialty of video annotation tools, where you can annotate your reflection and connect them to the video excerpt immediately, and other. And just to give a second example, if we think about augmented reality or immersive virtual reality, we could think about either sophisticated solutions like flight simulators, but also some other applications in mechanics, in surgery, in carpentry. And in this case, the affordances are to save materials, to reduce the amount of risks, to allow working on errors, which is very interesting from a pedagogical point of view, to access dangerous situations or not always available situations, not always available products, and so on.
In terms of digital games, I can refer to two projects or initiatives of mine. One is playfulpedagogy.org, where you can see different games, popular games that can be redesigned or reused for pedagogical aims, and or serious games. For example, the Games for Change platform is a very interesting platform where you can deal with technical education and training in terms of environmental issues, for example. So you do get the whole context of why we are developing new technologies for green jobs, for example, and dive into the problems, the global problems that are related to that. So, and another project was digital games to foster inclusion, where we tried to create a game or recreate game so that different people with different strengths and weaknesses can play together and find a common ground in playing and learning together, which is also very interesting to look at. It's called E-Crisis, Europe in Crisis.
And we have some very good examples which are well established now in the market for vocational education and training. One, for example, is the online report book. We call it Block, with K in the end, not with G in the end. And this enables teachers and trainers and apprentices to document their learning experiences and their way through an apprenticeship online. So they can use it, everybody, they can do it in a joint working concept, and they can ask questions in this online book, and the teacher always sees, oh, there the young one has to learn a little bit more, there he is very well prepared, there he lacks some experiences, and the apprentice can put in his own thoughts, and when he finishes, when he or she finishes the vocational education and training, the apprenticeship, he has a complete documentary about his individual way into the job, and he can use it as an electronic portfolio through his or her working life as a whole.
So video, hyper video, puts together the pedagogical approaches, the cognitive knowledge we have on how we work and on how we learn, and also some motivational aspects that are very important when dealing with learning for teenagers, for example. And you will see that all these things making the learner interactive on videos, getting feedback, getting automated feedback or also tutor-based feedbacks, instead than collaborating with others for building, for producing the video itself or the hyper video itself, or again to discuss on the video with other schoolmates, are very engaging activities and very motivating ones. And we have again evidence that these kind of approaches produce learning, are effective for learning. Considering, I insist on that, both the cognitive and the emotional affective dimensions of learning. Both are important and both are interacting each other. If we find ways, exploiting technologies to foster, to augment both sides of learning, I think we can do a good job independently from the country we are active in.
And the third one is that I want to mention is this artificial and augmented reality. We are using that and we're prototyping here, also working together with corporations to see which kind of adaptive or virtual reality environment can work for students. And here again, we do have great potentials and benefits in the technical FED sector, because it's here again, it's easier to provide content that is meaningful for the students and that have that kind of domain-specific criteria that needs to be fulfilled so that it can be used in education, for example, or that it can be used within new technologies in FED.
And another project, we call it KFZ for Me, is a concept which explains very detailed how I can do an video, how I can produce a video jointly with my apprentices, how I have to write a storyboard, which technique I can use, how to put the right way of lighting, of sound, of cutting a video, and how to transfer it then as maybe as a YouTube video or as another video to companies and schools. So teachers and trainers are really doing a joint job in developing commonly a video, and this KFZ for Me is focused on the car mechatronic, on the example of the car mechatronic, and is running very successfully in Germany with, I think, more than 1 million users in the moment.